We're back with another donut hole where we answer your questions here on the Money Donuts podcast. Cooper, we have another great question that was submitted, and it's, what should people prioritize when income doesn't cover everything?
That's a really good one. This is it's a kind of two answer question, right? So kind of, the first thing is, we're financial educators. I have to tell you, please pay all your bills on time, right? The reality is that life happens, okay? And I think we've all probably been in that situation where income might not cover everything that we need it to. And so when we have to make that really, really, really hard choice, it's prioritizing what are those true needs, right? So like, I kind of call it, your noodle budget, like you're eating ramen noodles for the week. What do you have to have in order to get by? Is it gas in the car so you can get to work? Okay, well, we have to do that. Is it paying rent so that you can keep the house over your head? 100%, right? So, you have to look at those expenses and figure out like, what, if I don't pay that, what is going to happen? If you don't make your credit card payment, yes, you're going to get a late fee. You might get a penalty for interest, but if you can then make it the next month, you're going to be okay, right? There's going to be less of an impact than losing your job or losing, the place that you live. So taking a really hard look at that. I also always, encourage people to, depending on what it is, if it is a credit card payment or if it is your vehicle payment, it is scary and it never feels good to reach out and say, hey, I can't pay you this money. But if you do that before you can't pay us, Royal, we try to work with you the best we can, right? Like we can, sometimes add the payment to the end of a loan. Sometimes we can forgive the late fees. We have things we can do if we are proactive versus if it's after the fact, right? And that goes for anybody, call Chase and say, hey, I can't make my credit card payment. They want their money. They're probably going to do something to try and help you, right? Even if it is just forgiving that fee. Sweet, because that's $30 more you don't have to worry about, right? So, being proactive about that and figuring out, who can I really talk to? If you've rented at the same place for a long time, landlords, they want their rent too, right? So if it's paying a couple days late and you tell them that, okay, a lot of times they're willing to work with you too. I can't guarantee that, there are people out there that do not want to help, and that is unfortunate, but I would say most of them do, because a lot of them have experienced it themselves too, right?
But then you also have to take the next steps to make sure.
Yes. Yep. And that's, where I would encourage you, like Family Means is local and they can help you with that management and things. Calling Royal and saying, hey, I've got a car loan with you and, could we look at refinancing it and, getting my payment a little bit lower? Can we, see if you have that equity in your home, and is it worth, trying to, like right now we have HELOCs and there's no closing cost on them, right? That's not going to be forever. So if you listen to this after that promotion, it comes back every, so often. But, is it time to look at that? And can we refinance some of that debt? And so, calling your financial and asking, what can we do? You don't know until you ask, and there's creative resources out there and things you probably didn't think of because you're not taught it, right? And you haven't had to think about it before.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Cooper.
Yeah, you bet.